Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let me get my hat on and get to this first question. Alright. Hey Jason, why do you think there are very few female role models for lifters? Your video on Dana Lynn Bailey was very truthful. It looks like all the female lifters on YouTube are bikini competitors or dangerously thin. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, this is from a female lifter herself. Well, part of the problem you've got is that it is going to be very, very hard to find lifters you can look up to, because when you come to YouTube, I mean, think about it. Even for the fitness stuff for men, look at what gets promoted on there. Off most of the dominant channels, other than people like maybe Mike Chain, who actually is mainstream, he's one of the few guys who actually just promotes mainstream information. Just appeals to the average person, not to some hardcore crowd, or not to people who have body image disorders of some type and think they need to be emaciatedly ripped all the time. And so you see that audience, but because a lot of women, most women out there just seek to look normal and maybe just slightly in shape, it's going to be very, very difficult to find real role models for that on YouTube, because the only ones who seem to get promoted to some extent are the ones who do take the more hardcore extreme, and then they're going to develop a niche audience. It just makes it really hard. Now, I think it is possible that we will eventually see more of that as YouTube grows and expands. Maybe we'll find some, but they are going to be difficult to find for now because of the way the YouTube fitness community has gone. And it seems like extremism is always promoted. You know, you've got either chicks on here who are obviously involved in bikini competition, which is in and of itself unhealthy, and might even be more extreme than most women who might get into training would be interested in following. So they have kind of a niche audience. And then you're going to have people like the crazy raw vegan stuff, which draws a big niche, also, again, has its own problems. It's just going to be difficult for a while. And I think the biggest problem they have is that women who come on here are going to find it hard to break into a women's fitness endeavor, because they're going to look just slightly better than the average woman in terms of their physique, the ones who are going to come on and be the best role models. And they're going to be pretty much just kind of pushed away and shunned by the actual fitness world oftentimes with its extremity, and they're going to be marginalized, and it might be hard for them to get an outreach. But I think eventually you'll see more of that. It's just unfortunate, I think, they may not always be promoting the best stuff, because truth be told, to get the physique that most women are interested in, just for someone to get there who maybe has decent genetics for an attractive body, isn't going to take a great deal of knowledge. So it's going to be hard to find that good balance of finding someone who actually looks the way most women would want to look, who actually has an intricate understanding of nutrition and training. And I think that's where it's going to be difficult. And that's why there hasn't really been many yet. And you know what? They could be some out there. There probably are. There's probably 20 or 30 out there, smaller little channels that fit the role there. But just because of the nature of YouTube fitness, they've probably been marginalized and gone completely unnoticed. And I wouldn't really know how to find them myself, because I don't really look through YouTube fitness stuff. I'm not really that interested in it, because I run my own thing. I don't really care what other people are doing unless it gets sent to me. So I don't know. I mean, I'll look around, and if I see any, I might start promoting them a little bit. If I see some that kind of fit the bill and are what people might be looking for. I don't know. All right, next question. Is there any problem not having a horizontal push on my full body workout? I'm a female. I'm not concerned on chest development. I put emphasis on my shoulders. So you don't have any chest presses in there. That's perfectly fine. If you're not worried about developing your pectorals to a large extent, your other big heavy compounds are going to handle it. If you're doing a lot of overhead pressing, your chest is going to get development. Is it going to get maximum development? No. But is it going to get stimulation and growth? Of course it will. It's just not necessary to do direct chest work for people who aren't either needing to compete in something that requires their chest to be developed, or who just aren't really looking to get massive pecs. It just isn't that necessary. I see no reason for overall fitness and athleticism. I see no problem at all with someone focusing primarily on overhead work, tons of pressing overhead, and avoiding chest presses completely if they're just not really interested in doing them. It's not really a big deal. It's mainly just an aesthetics thing for people who want a certain look, and it isn't necessary, and it certainly isn't necessary for women who don't want that. If you're just trying to give yourself slightly perkier breasts or whatever, even as a female, the overhead work is going to work your upper chest enough that you might see a difference there anyways without even doing direct chest work. It's just not really a big deal. you're probably going to be more overall athletic and functional in a lot of ways if you focused on the overhead work anyways, if that's the way you choose to do it. No problem at all. All right, next question. I was wondering what an example of too much fiber would be. I've read various articles that too much might lower testosterone levels, and I was just wondering if you could touch upon that. I'm aware it probably wouldn't be significant effect gains. However, from a general health standpoint, would it outweigh the positives of eating the recommended amount based on libido and energy levels associated with it? I typically get between 50 and 70 grams a day. All right, brother, people spend way too much time worried about testosterone levels from their diet. The only time testosterone levels are really going to crash from your diet in any significant degree is if you're starving yourself down too lean or you're totally fat deficient. Now, some people are going to be concerned with all the fiber itself, and a really high fiber diet that, yeah, it might have some malabsorption issues with dietary cholesterol and even fats that you might need to boost your testosterone levels and everything. But a lot of that's going to be, they might be concerned that it could block D3 absorption or whatever. You're getting most of that in the sunlight. This really is not going to be a problem for you unless you're on fairly low calories, meaning people who are eating large amounts of calories, who are very physically active. You're probably lifting weights, doing cardio. You're not doing some extreme cutting down to 8 or 9% body fat. Your fiber's not going to hurt your testosterone significantly. This is generally only going to be for somewhat low activity people who probably aren't consuming a lot of calories. If you're consuming a lot of calories, even 50 to 70 grams of fiber a day, if you're on a reasonably balanced diet that has a little bit of fat in it, isn't going to affect your hormones in a negative way. I would say keep doing what you're doing. You're going to be healthier overall for having a higher fiber diet. And I mean, it has to do with feeding your gut flora and everything. There's so much data out there emerging of the health benefits of fiber and how much gut flora who need to be fed by this fiber, that's what they eat for food, affects everything from your immune system to your training results and everything. I mean, overall health, a high fiber diet's definitely the way to go. I think everyone who studies this stuff generally agrees on that. Any minor concerns over fluctuation in testosterone are really not a big deal. And if you're that worried, if you feel like it's affecting your testosterone, it just might be that you're getting too lean, you're cutting too far, you're not eating enough calories, or worst case scenario, eat an extra steak or two a week and it will sort it back out. Usually the dietary concerns from that. Again, just a good balanced diet with plenty of calories and plenty of activity level, it shouldn't be a concern for you. Again, the really high fiber concerns with hormones are sometimes for people who are consuming too few calories, or they're down at like 2,000 or less calories because they don't have a really high activity level and they're trying to lose weight. That's going to be your concern. I'm going to assume if you're watching my channel, you lift and do cardio, probably do some heavy barbell work, you probably burn a fair amount of calories, you're probably eating a large amount of calories. All right, next question. Hey Jason, I'm a novice lifter and my left thumb into my wrist is causing me discomfort when deadlifting with a mixed grip. The left hand is the hand that is bothering me and is also the hand that is not turned over pronated. My right hand is supinated. I am only pulling 190 pounds for 1x5. My body weight is 150. What am I doing wrong, sir? Thanks. All right, a couple things going on here. Probably you might be trying to grip the bar under too much with a thumb instead of getting your fingertips all the way around it and bringing the thumb over the other way. It could be just the way you're gripping it. You need to get that bar grip tighter in your hand with these fingers in your palm so that your thumb isn't gripping it as hard. So it could be a grip issue for you, and I suspect that's probably what's going on. Also, there's the factor of sometimes, connective tissue gets inflamed. Sometimes we overuse it. That happens. It's time for you to take a deload. Now, under normal circumstances, I don't say that novices need deloads, because they should be able to just make a linear progression and push through. But you know what? Overuse injuries happen. Inflammation happens. Fatigue happens. And when you start having any sort of connective tissue that is inflamed, and in this case it's in your hand and your thumb, that's still connective tissue inflammation. That's still something you need to be concerned with. Go ahead and deload. Take a full deload. The way I describe it normally, which means reduce all your weights by 50% on all your exercises and do that for a week. Do that for a full week before you return back to your normal progression. You're not going to lose any gains. You're not going to lose any muscle for it. And that'll give that hand time to heal. What I would also say is, get in there and do some soft tissue work. Work it. Work those areas that are sore, with your thumb. Get in there, get some blood flow to it several times a day. Get some heat on it. Get it in some hot water soaking, maybe some Epsom salts, some nice hot baths, and get that thumb in there soaking during your deload week. Get blood flow to it. It should all recover, and everything should work itself out. It should be fine unless you've got some sort of other injury going on. If that doesn't remedy it, changing your grip, doing the deload week, all that stuff I recommended, then you might want to consult a physical therapist. But I'm almost certain that that's going to sort you out. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.